So I've had this conversation with a lot of business owners, and it's one that most business owners look at me and say, yeah, that's not me. And that is one of the big problems you're having right now is you are a superhero. And we often want to rail against that because not many of us actually wake up in the morning and feel like, I'm putting on the cape and I'm going to go save the day. That's not the essence of how we feel, but it is the reality in which we live. Listen, let me break that down for you and bring it home a little bit, okay? So there are a couple of different ways that you know or you could see that you're acting as the superhero. So number one is, does everybody kind of wait for you to do the thing? Does everybody come to you looking for the answer? If you are, you've created a culture in your company where you are the superhero. Because what does the superhero do? Well, the superhero saves the day. And so if every little thing that happens, or even if it's just the big things, they're sitting around with their arms folded, wondering, when's he or she going to step in? You're the superhero. You are the superhero. If in your business you exist in a way where, and y'all, I'm guilty of this one too, right? Where you give a task or a project and it's not coming together, so you go and insert yourself in because, well, we got to meet the deadline, or some other excuse that it's my money, it's my company on the line. Guess what? That's also superhero complex, because what happens in that moment is you are literally training your staff that I'm going to give you a project, and if you just wait around long enough and it starts to look dire, I'm going to jump in and save the day. And guess what? You may love your staff. I love my staff. But human nature is this. We want to do as little work for as much reward. And so if you flat out tell your staff, hey, here's a little bit of work that you need to do in order for me to jump in and save the day, that's exactly what they're going to do every single time. Every single time. Now here's the third one, and this is the one that so many of us are unwilling to admit, and this is going to require you to go look hard at yourself in the mirror. And this is the one that I didn't even realize for a long time I was suffering with. I didn't realize this for years, that I was suffering from this. And even though I'd put so many other things in place, I was sabotaging myself and creating this environment where I had to be the superhero, and they knew that I wanted to be the superhero. And here's what it was. When there were problems, when there were things that needed to be fixed, I got a massive dopamine hit out of fixing them. I actually felt good about myself. I felt valuable when I was the one fixing problems. I felt like I was doing it, that I was being a business owner. I was in it. But it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie that keeps all of us trapped. And it's one that we don't often actually pay attention to. And years after I had started to fix that problem, I'd realized it really, really clearly when I got to a place where I was sitting in my office at home and Slack hadn't gone off in hours. No one was asking anything. Things were getting done. And I had to ask myself, what do I do now? What's my purpose? Why am I, if they don't need me, what's the point? Yeah, you see right there, right there. Right there. We have that desire to be needed. And it's so funny because it's the exact thing we don't want. We say all the time, why do they need us all the time? Why won't they take ownership? Why won't they? But but we also get our dopamine hit every time they do, and we get to go in and save the day. And so the exact same thing that's bringing life in the dopamine hit is the exact same thing that's killing us. You see, and the thing here is, the challenge here is, and this is the big thing that I had to learn in all of this too. The challenge here is, the thing that we need to realize is, when we delegate effectively, when we communicate vision effectively, when we teach our staff to think effectively, and they're able to go off and do the things that they're supposed to do and do them better than we can, because 80% is never good enough, it then allows us to operate in our zone of genius to move the organization forward. It then allows us to consider, how can we innovate things that will allow us to go into the next season of business even greater than when we are right now. It allows us not to work on the business, not to work in the business, but actually to work above our businesses. And my friends, until the time when we sell the company and we move on, that's where we're the most effective for our entire organizations. So, I guarantee you, superhero complex is holding you back, whether you've ever admitted it to yourself or not. But it's time. It's time to take that long, hard look in the mirror, and let's put some steps in place to get you out of superhero complex and working above your business in your zone of genius. That's what we do. That's what we help you figure out. And if that's something that you need help with, holla at your boy. Let's talk about it, and let's help you create a plan to get there.